and welcome to News Ei Samay. Today we have with us the one and only star of East Bengal, Alvito D'Cunha, and we were always in awe of him in his playing days. And today we are going to understand some brick by brick information which he's going to give us about the current situation of football, some controversies, some talent, and his message for youngsters. Let's hear it from him.
Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to say about my life in football and about the future generation, how they really need to cope up with football and to be the bright stars.
So, are you following the current ongoing ISL? And what do you think about East Bengal's chances for the Final Four?
Of course, as a footballer, I do follow all the matches. And if we talk about the chances of East Bengal, I think the chances are quite bright this season. And there are a lot of reasons to say that. Of course, one is because the team is really looking good this season. And in the ISL history, I think East Bengal never managed to get a win in the first match in the last editions that they've participated. And I think this year, since they've started with a win, I think there's a saying: all that starts well ends well. And so I'm confident that East Bengal definitely will end well with by winning the ISL this season.
So, what immediate measures do you think should be undertaken by the government so that the futures and livelihoods of players are not held hostage by boardroom decisions?
You're talking about football?
Yes.
Okay. See, we kept on saying that the infrastructure needs to be really good for the development of the players, but then a lot of places you see the infrastructure has really improved. But if you personally ask me, I think everything starts from school, and I think we need to get educated teachers in the school. What happens is we get the physical education teachers. They don't have any proper guidance about football. If since I'm a footballer, I'll be talking about football. So they are mostly involved with all kind of sports, but then if they have to teach something in football, they're really not good enough. And if we talk about footballers or any sportsman, everything starts from school, so they need to get the proper guidance from the school. So I would request the government, if that they can make it a mandatory to the PT teachers to at least have a minimum degree of license, whether it's starting from the D license or the C license. So that will help them to do better in school, and then the improvement of the students or the players will also be good. And in that way, maybe we as one of the biggest country that we call it as, so we might see a lot of footballers playing for the country.
I've been observing Northeast United's track record over the past few months. And do you feel that East Bengal should get a pillar like John Abraham or some similar icon for a backbone in this current scenario?
I don't really think so, because East Bengal itself is one of the big brand. So why do they need a brand ambassador like John Abraham? But then if somebody is willing to come on board, definitely it would be most welcome. But then Northeast needed to do that, because they need somebody, an icon like John Abraham, to be the brand ambassador for the club. But then let's not forget East Bengal and Mohan Bagan. They are the pillars of Indian football. They are the one of the clubs that India has produced so many players for the national team, and for the club so many players have represented it. So if you personally ask me, for some maybe it might sound very odd, some might not even like my views, but if you personally ask me, I think East Bengal and Mohan Bagan, they are the brands of Indian football.
They are doing well on its own.
Of course, see. Of course, you can't survive without an investor. So, and that's the reason why they're having investors like East Bengal have Imami, Mohun Bagan have got Goenka. So I think, and since we all know, playing in the ISL or the salary caps have been really high nowadays. So for that reason, you really need an investor. In the past, like the McDowell's or the Kingfisher could manage to somehow manage these two big clubs, but then now it's really very difficult without the investors. And I think East Bengal and Mohun Bagan, they're doing quite well with the investors that they have around them.
So, the Indian Super League was literally put on hold. So, do you think it's a failure of governance at the AIFF or FSDL level?
A difficult question to answer, but if you ask my honest opinion, I think the government or the federation should have been a little bit serious about it. It's after all the life of a lot of footballers. If today you're working for a newspaper or for a channel, it's because you are getting your bread and butter from this channel, correct? So the same way the footballers, they get their earnings from playing football. So without football, for them to survive and for them to take care of their families would have been very difficult. So this thing should have really been well planned. As we all say, the calendar should be good. Even till the month of maybe October or November, we were not aware whether the ISL will take place or not. But if you see the English Premier League or the Spanish League or any other leagues all over the world, the fixtures are there much before, where we all know in the month of June or July that the Premier League is starting on so and so day and it's ending on so and so day. If we can have a proper calendar like that, that would be really nice. But whatever happened this year was very slow. But in the end, we are all very happy because the ISL has taken place. It's after all the future of a lot of players also, where they have to rely on the ISL, or they have to rely on the clubs for their payments and to take care of their families. But then hoping that next year will be a good one as it was a couple of years back.
You have been a part of the city's football ecosystem for a long time. So, what is currently different about the city's football ecosystem from the time you played?
See, everything has been changed a lot, but the sad part is the players, in spite of getting so much of exposure, so much of infrastructure, the facilities have changed so much. But then, the football has not really changed so much. During our days, the ground was like the roads wherein you had to play in those, the difficult conditions. I remember the Calcutta League when it was sunny up, and then on the ground it was like very muddy or maybe sluggy ground conditions. But then you don't see those grounds anymore because the players are getting one of the best infrastructure. All they need to do is go on the pitch, play a good brand of football.
That also had a different kind of nostalgia.
Of course, we love that. I mean, whenever we used to lose the match, though it is not a good thing to talk about, but then the crowd used to come boo you. The crowd used to be after you. They used to spit on you. But the good part about them was they were honest in coming and telling you the next time when we win a match that I was the one who did that. I'm sorry for that. I mean, those days are no longer there. But then obviously things have changed. If you see nowadays, the players, they can't even interact with the fans. The fans don't even know from where the players are coming out of the stadium. So there's a mixed zone for the players where that area is totally restricted for the players. But for us, it was really difficult to come out of the tunnel. It was difficult to come out of from the stadiums, and it was really getting difficult. And I think that was one reason, the fear of the fans, that they might spit on you, they might fire bad words at you, they might say a lot of other things to you. And that was the fear that we had in our mind, and that we wanted to give everything to the fans, like by displaying a good brand of football. But nowadays for the players, there's no pressure. All they need to do is go play the match, whether it's a win, draw, lose. For them it's fine. But then I think they need to have that pressure in them. If you want to become a successful footballer, if you want to achieve something great in your life, you need to really focus, you need to concentrate, and there's no stopping about it.
So the ISL season is finally rolling. So which club are you rooting for this season?
I played for 15 years for East Bengal, so there cannot be any other team than East Bengal that I would be rooting for. So obviously, for sure, the trophy is coming back to Calcutta. But then, obviously, saying so, I think there are 3 or 4 clubs from Calcutta who are playing in the ISL. But I don't want to think about any other club besides East Bengal. So obviously, I'm cheering up for East Bengal, and I want to say that East Bengal is going to win this year. Enjoy East Bengal.
He's not very happy with your answer. He's a Mohun Bagan fan.
See, I understand that because the way he questioned me this, I had a feeling that he's not an East Bengal, but he's a Mohun Bagan. So maybe he was expecting me to say that Mohun Bagan might win this year. But my prediction, even if I know that Mohun Bagan is going to win, I'm going to always say East Bengal is going to win. So that's, I think, if you are a diehard, if you are a true legend of this club, I think I'm going to support just one team. That's East Bengal.
This the hiatus that occurred a few months back regarding Lionel Messi coming to Calcutta. Do you think it could have been avoided?
See, avoiding it's not in our hand, and nobody knew that this situation would have occurred. But then whatever happened was bad. But anyways, hopefully, if things change in the future, maybe some more stars coming to Calcutta, maybe we see a proper planning and we see a better understanding. And because when we saw the matches being organized in Hyderabad or Mumbai or in Delhi, we were like, why did something else happen in Calcutta? So, anyways, not to blame anybody. Hopefully, as a sportsman, I would want things to be on the better side for the next time whenever there's any uh, icon players coming to Calcutta, whether it's from football fraternity or whether it's from any other sports.
So you have spent your time with Sunil Chetri as a pro player. So how often do you have a conversation with him about football, about life, about everything?
I really, to be very honest, I don't have much conversations with Sunil, but then definitely I really appreciate the hard work that he has put in. And in spite of all that, the way he is really performing, even at this age, it's the total credit goes to him. But yes, of course, whenever it's his birthday, I always make sure that I wish him on his birthday. I never miss his birthdays, and it's always really good to see a text coming back from him saying thank you, bye, because there was a time when Sunil Chetri played for East Bengal. We were neighbors. He was staying next to my door, and then we used to travel together for trainings. And yeah, we had some very good memories together with the national team as well as with the club football, that is East Bengal. But yes, really appreciate the way he's putting all the efforts even at this. It's I think it's for the kids to learn a lot from an icon like Sunil Chetri. And if he can achieve and he can still score goals at this age, why can't the younger generations? Why can't they really motivate themselves? I think they need to learn something from Sunil Chetri.
What has been your most memorable win so far in all your career at East Bengal?
Oh, that's a very difficult one to answer because there are so many. But then, if you still talk about one, I think it's about the Asian Cup. It's a very memorable one because, though we were leading by 2 goals to 1, and, we were not knowing what exactly is going to happen. And a team like Baktaro Sasana, who had a lot of stars footballer and they're definitely one of the Asia's best Chaiman. So anything could have happened. And as everyone knows, 2-1 scoreline is never a safe scoreline. Uh, and then me being a left footer, scoring a goal with a light footer, I think that was one of the best goals for me, one of the best goals for the club, one of the best victories for the team. And yes, of course, today we can proudly say East Bengal is one club that has won a tournament outside India. So I think that's one of the most memorable match for me and memorable goal as well. That's the only right-footed goal that I've scored in my entire career.
So as we are talking about Sunil Chetri, he had to come back out of his retirement after breaking it. So do you think that was the last wake-up call for Indian football?
Uh yes, that was a wake-up call, but then I still believe that Sunil Chetri also should have not come out from the retirement, because once you retired, you know for what you have retired. No matter who has asked you get back to the national team, but I think that was not really a good move. But then whatever said so, uh, it was his decision. But if you ask me on a honest decision, I would say that was not the right decision by him. But then it is also a wake up call for a lot of youngsters. If we still need Sunil Chetri to come back from his retirement, what are you guys doing? You need to focus, you need to work hard, you need to be next Sunil Chetri. So I hope they can really dream of that and become the next Sunil Chetri.
Have you ever considered, right after you retired, have you ever considered coming back right out of retirement?
I think just because I have not come out of my retirement, that's why I've been speaking about Sunil Chetri. If I had to do that, I don't think I would have spoken about Sunil Chetri, because you know, it's easy for someone to talk, but then I think I've been very honest to give my opinion on Sunil Chetri, because I think that was a bad decision. If he had to retire from the national team at the age of 30 or 32, I would have still said it was too early that he retired, or he can still play good football. I don't say that he cannot play good football, but to play for the national team when he retired at the age of maybe 39 or 40 and to make a comeback at the age of 40, I think that's very difficult to really cope up with the youngsters and the way the standard of football has really improved so much. It's high intensity football. It's a lot of stamina. It's a lot. I don't say he doesn't have the stamina or the intensity in him, but then I think Sunil, once he retired, that's it.
Technology has delved its way a lot into sports now. Now we have artificial intelligence, we have like mapping, we have predictable mapping features, we have goal line technology and everything. So how do you think, as of this point, technology like technology's implementation into sports, especially a sport like football?
Yeah, there was a time when I used to think why this is really needed, because football, as we say, it's a fast-paced game. Like cricket, they have implemented the third umpire rule, wherein you can appeal to the third umpire, and then the game slows down. But any which ways you look, cricket is a game which normally it's a slow down game, where one bowler, if he bowls, and the two batsmen, they have to run between the wickets, and the most of the fielders are on their on the boundary lines or maybe standing here and there. But in football, it's about all the players you have to keep moving around, and especially when you give a decision to the VAR or to the technologies, then what happens? The intensity or the pace of the game goes down. I was not really keen on that, but then I think it really helps the football a lot. And maybe if this can also come to India, which we are all waiting to know when VAR is going to be implemented in Indian football. So that is what we are looking for. But then I think it's a very good move. Sometimes it helps.
Fairness in the
Yes,
play.
of course. Yeah, but sometimes if you see at the decisions also, we feel that no, it shouldn't have been a handball, or it shouldn't have been called as a penalty. But then the referees know for what reason they are giving those decisions. But I think with those decisions, with these technologies, football has really improved a lot.
I'll just ask a very quirky question. Like, if war was there at the time of Act of God, would it have escaped the?
Of course, that's the reason why I think we can have only one hand of God, and that belongs to the late Diego Maradona, because things changes, and I think certain things have happened in the past where certain decisions have not gone in favor of certain people. I think there was I don't remember who was he. I think it was Zidane or Lampard who had taken a shot and which he bounced inside the goal and it came out. I don't remember exactly. I think it was Lampard's goal. I think if that was allowed as a goal,
It crossed
probably
the line.
England, yes, probably England would have gone through to the next round. But then that disallowed goal, that is also again because of the VAR. So that's the reason why I said sometimes it has been in favor of you, sometimes it wasn't in favor of you. So that's it.
So back to a policy question. Accusations have surfaced. They keep surfacing that AIFF doesn't invest a lot in the grassroots development of football. What are your thoughts on this?
Um, if they don't invest, then they have to invest. Very simple. Because to be very honest, I've not been to too many places whether they're investing or not, or whether they have been really doing something good for the Indian football or not. But then overall, if you ask me, with this ISL structure or with the I League structure, with the Churchill brothers not playing in any of the leagues, or maybe IAFF not being able to handle the situations properly, I think we are going not ahead, we are falling back behind. So that's where they really need to work on. I really don't know about the infrastructure. I'm just hearing from you because I've not been visiting any of the grounds. I've not gone to certain places to see whether the grounds are good in condition or not. If you talk about the ISL, the standards or the ground conditions really look good, but then they have been managed by the clubs themselves. But then if AFF uh, is not doing this properly, I think they really need to work on this so that, if the grounds are good, the players will be able to play good football. And maybe it will help the Indian football to do well in the future as well.
Any message for the young people who are dreaming to be footballers?
There's only one advice that I would always say is stay away from your devices. And I think we were the lucky guys not to have the phones during our younger days. And that's the reason why we could manage to give more time on ground, less time with other things. Maybe apart from television, there was nothing else. But then now it's just the opposite. The kids are more with the phones, less on the ground. So my advice to them is phones are not going to really help you to achieve your goal in your future. So all you can just do is give your more time on the ground, and definitely you'll be a star, not only for yourself, not only for your parents, but for the country. So dream of that, and you can achieve your goal.
But sir, do you think that the bodies who are responsible to bring up those players, do they think that they're doing enough to find young talent throughout the country,
Which bodies you mean?
like AIFF, FSDL?
So that's what I'm saying. See, FSDL, they had their own Reliance Academy. So but then if you see, there have not been too many players who have really come out of that academy, the Reliance Academy. And not only about one academy. In the past, we were just waiting when the TFA lads are going to be out. When are they going to get matured, or when they are going to be, there was a year which they had to stay there in the TFA for 4 years. So once the batch was over, we were waiting when and which club they are going to sign for, because they were really potential. They had the talent in them.
Like a placement.
Yes. But now there are so many academies like the Minerva Academy or the AIFF academies or the Zinc academies. There are a lot of academies. But if you ask me, I've not seen any talent which they can come out and say, I'm from this academy. In the past, like Randy Singh or Dipendu Biswas or Carlton Chapman, or a lot of footballers, like, we could look at them and say he's from the TFA. He is a product of TFA, like Dipankar Roy. Or
They had
Miles
that
Fazul.
essence.
Yeah, of course, they had the essence. They went there just with one dream, and that is to become a footballer. Now, there are a lot of players who go represent, they are a part of certain academies, but a long term project, you see them nowhere.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And for more such videos and interactions, keep watching News Ei Samay.